Sectarian clashes in Syria have left more than 200 people dead, sparked a war between Israel and President Ahmad al-Sharah's forces, and raised fears of a breakdown in the country's fragile post-war order. Syria is deeply divided as it tries to emerge from decades of dictatorship and nearly 14 years of civil war. But why is it burning all over again? How did it start? Clashes began on July 13th between factions from the Druze religious minority and Bedouin tribes, who are Sunni Muslims. The two sides have a long-standing feud in Sweida. Clashes have on several occasions broken out between forces loyal to the government and Druze fighters since the fall of President Bashar al-Assad. But this time around, the fighting threatened to escalate into a larger conflict. Syrian government forces sent reinforcements to the region, saying they want to re-establish security. But according to witnesses, government forces and allied groups, including Bedouins, took control of several villages near Sweida that were previously run by Druze fighters. Then on July 15th, following contacts between Damascus authorities and stakeholders from Sweida, the Syrian Defense Ministry announced a ceasefire after government forces had entered the city. The Druze religious sect is a minority group. More than half of the roughly 1 million Druze worldwide live in Syria, largely in the southern Sweida province. The transitional government has promised to include minorities, including the Druze, but the new 23-member government in Syria, announced in late March, only has one Druze member. Under the Assad family's tight rule, religious freedom was guaranteed. But under Sharah, the Druze have been divided over how to deal with their issues. A key sticking point is disarmament of Druze militia and integration. Sharah has said that the right of ethnic and religious minorities will be protected, but there have been several rounds of sectarian killings since Assad's fall. The Israeli army launched airstrikes on the Syrian Defense Ministry and near the presidential palace in capital Damascus. Israeli Defense Minister Katz said the IDF will continue operating with force in Sweida to destroy the forces that attack the Druze until their withdrawal is complete. The Gulf Cooperation Council called it a flagrant violation of Syria's sovereignty, a breach of international laws and norms, and a serious threat to regional security and stability.
אחיי אזרחי ישראל הדרוזים, המצב בסווידה, המצב בדרום מערב סוריה, הוא חמור מאוד. צה"ל פועל, חיל האוויר פועל, כוחות אחרים פועלים. אנחנו פועלים כדי להציל את אחינו הדרוזים וכדי לחסל את כנופיות המשטר. ועכשיו יש לי בקשה אחת מכם. אתם, אזרחי ישראל, אל תעברו את הגבול. אתם מסכנים את חייכם, אתם יכולים להירצח, אתם יכולים להיחטף, ואתם פוגעים במאמצים של צה"ל. ולכן אני מבקש מכם, חזרו לבתיכם, תנו לצה"ל לפעול.
In a direct message to the Druze community of Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged restraint and warned against crossing into Syrian territory. Nearly 130,000 Israeli Druze live in Carmel and Galilee in Israel's north. Druze men over the age of 18 have been conscripted in the Israeli military since 1957. The Israeli government has also unilaterally declared a demilitarization zone in Syria, something that the Sharah government has rejected. Since the fall of the Assad regime in December 2024, Israel has both seized more territory in Syria and repeatedly launched strikes in the country. The attacks have continued despite Israel's closest ally, the United States, pushing for the country to normalize relations with the new regime in Syria.
We're going to be working on that issue as we speak. I just got off the phone with the relevant parties. We're very concerned about it. And hopefully we'll have some updates later today for you. But we're very concerned about it. We want it to stop.
In May, US President Donald Trump held a meeting with Sharah in Riyadh. It was the first high-level US-Syria meeting in decades. He announced the lifting of US sanctions against Syria just before the meeting. Since then, Israel has held direct and indirect talks with the new Syrian government. But Israel's strikes in Syria could complicate any potential normalization deal or even Sharah's efforts to consolidate authority over the country.